Clovercrest Media Group presents a CMG podcast. Keys to the City.
Keys to the city, baby. When you see us, so you know.
Crossed up by Kobe, little floater to Shaq, and then Shaq goes like this, and the rest is history. Pay attention. Don't tell me what to do, devil woman. But speaking of those Lakers, hold on, stun. But I didn't make my. I said Denver's gonna win. Yeah, you did. You said that.
There's no other show like that. Clovercrest is doing great things right now.
Streaming everywhere.
Let's say goodbye to all your worries about tax planning, investment troubles, and any confusion when it comes to managing your finances and money. Here at Rocky Hill Accountants, our team has a combined 35 years of experience and will help you do it right. We're dedicated to your needs and will deliver on a result that is professional and trustworthy. Our firm is large enough to offer a full range of professional services, but small enough to give you the individual attention that you deserve. Our business portfolio includes thousands of prepared tax returns for individuals, families, partnerships, businesses, and more. The team at Rocky Hill Accountants are also thoroughly trained in tax laws and procedures. We have the ability to represent taxpayers before the IRS when they arrive at collections, audits, and appeals. This allows us to offer our accuracy and audit guarantee to tax clients. Please visit our website at rockyhillaccountants.com or give us a call at 860-257-4238 to schedule an appointment.
The Giants are running New York like the Times as Danny is dropping all sorts of dimes. Saquon's thighs are ruining defenses' lives and Leonard Williams making opposing QBs feel him. Receivers think it's scary to line up across James Bradbury, and the Giants have a bright future led by Coach Judge, Jury, and Executioner. Tune in to Drawing About the G-Men every Wednesday at 6, live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Drawing About the Giants Football Podcast. I'm Big J, joined always by Joe Dwyer, Sean Scanlon, and King Zay. And week 2 of Giants preseason football has come and gone. Giants are down 0-2. Still, but no meaningful player really playing a snap. No Daniel Jones again. Saquon Barkley, Kenny Golladay, Kadarius Toney, all injured. What do you think of the game, Joe? And I don't know. Another week, we talked about last week, no actual NFL players on the field. Seemed like that again. How concerning is this 0-2 start, though?
No, the 0-2 start doesn't matter because they're not even trying. So at least Mike Glennon played like half a game. That was cool. I don't know what this is. I mean, are they just having these like incredible practices and everything is so great that they're like, oh, we're just going to roll in week 1 and take care of business? Because I don't know how you guys feel, but as I said last week, the last time we saw this team, they were winning a game when their backup running back fell on top of a football with his butt. So it would seem to me that these guys, dude, if the defense wants to hang out and wait, all right. They earn their way. But the offense, dude, Danny Dimes, he should be playing the first quarter of all of these games. Plain and simple. I mean, I have very low expectations for week 1. Very low expectations. I don't see how this offense against teams that have been out there playing their first team, I don't know how they're going to compete at all.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it a bunch last week. Danny Dimes he's young. He's coming up on a contract year. He needs to get as much playing time and as much time on the field so the front office and Coach Judge can really weigh out whether or not he's getting this next contract. But Sean, how do you feel about the Giants preseason thus far?
I agree with Joe. I'm not really too concerned about the preseason records because, I mean, obviously most of the time it's your second and third string players playing. But I also agree with Joe that It's kind of concerning for a team that, is coming off a 6-10 season that we're not playing most of these starters in the games. It makes sense for teams like the Bucks or the Chiefs or the Bills to not be playing all their starters because they know they have a successful team. They're bringing back pretty much the same squad that they had from last year. But for a team like the Giants, who, has struggled to win games over the past 3 or 4 years, I think that it's important to get these guys playing in preseason games, get all your starters out there, especially, on the offensive side of the ball. Because like Joe said, the defense, was really what carried the team last year. The offense obviously struggled. So it'd be nice, all those new additions to be playing with Daniel Jones. I mean, they didn't even start the starting offensive line the game against the Browns. It was their second string offensive line. Most of the playmakers, were all second string, guy like Devontae Booker, David Sills, Dante Pettis. So it would be nice to see on the offensive side of the ball, all these guys playing the preseason because we don't know what we're going to get. And like Joe said, in week 1, it might be a rude awakening because we face a Broncos defense that has one of the best secondaries in football. They have Von Miller coming back, Bradley Chubb as the edge rusher. So it's definitely going to be a test for this Giants offense week 1. And it would be nice to see these guys get, even a quarter of action, maybe even to the second quarter. It would be nice because I want to see what this offense looks like. And unfortunately, we're probably not going to get that until this coming game against New England.
Zay, you got anything more to add to the Giants right now?
Well, thanks to the great people of the UBS Arena down the block. I don't know what I missed, but I think what they pretty much covered is that the Giants let us down again with giving us a chance to see what the team is going to look like before the season begins. I'm hoping Daniel Jones is playing lights out in practice and the offensive line is doing just as well because, like Sean said, they'll get maybe a quarter to tune up before they start a real game in 2 weeks. So, like I said, I hope it works out well. I mentioned before the season began, a lot of teams were going to have issues in the beginning with this new preseason only having 3 games and not getting normally the third game would be the dress rehearsal where the starters would play about 3 quarters, but without that fourth game in there, you have to really look at your other roster and see which guys you're keeping because your cut downs are coming now even way faster. So I hope they figure out in the long run how to navigate the preseason better, give the offense, give the starters a chance to get their feet wet before the season actually begins, more than just, like I said, 1 quarter against the Patriots, which we've seen the Giants offense last year. They need more work than 1 quarter against the Patriots, but maybe Joe Judge knows something I don't know. So I don't know. I'm a fan. So
I'm listen, I mean, because here's my thought. I mean, as a fan, I don't need to see it. If you tell me it's all good, great. I mean, I want them to play because I think they need it. I'm pretty certain they do. If the Giants get off to a 3-0 start, I'll stand corrected. But again, look at week 1 opponent, Denver. I mean, you've got literally their 2 starters, the 2 quarterbacks battling it out for a starting role. They couldn't be any more in on training camp. And you were just talking about Teddy Bridgewater possibly lighting up the Giants in week 1, somewhat facetiously. But again, this team's going to have had barely any time on the field. Meanwhile, Teddy Bridgewater's been fighting for his life.
Yeah, I do. I am going to hold out hope because Joe Judge is from that Belichick and like Saban coaching tree. That week 1, everything's going to be prepared, and he isn't really taken too lightly preseason. But I don't know. That's all I can hope for. Do I expect that to happen? No. I really just want to see these guys get on the football field. And
if
see what
Jared Stidham was starting all the games in New England right now and handing the ball off to his 4th string running backs with the 3rd string lineman in front of him, then I'd be like, oh, Bill's doing it. All right. But no, again, Mac Jones has been lighting it up. We're like getting this kid a jacket for Canton from the games we've been watching. Meanwhile, Danny Dimes, I saw him throw a pick 6 in practice.
Yeah.
That's it. I haven't seen anything. So again, we can hold out hope. I don't know if Joe Judge is like out, like I think he's pulling a Bill Parcells here, where he's like out thinking himself, and it's like you're gonna lose that, bud.
Again, you got to understand the situation. Like I said before, with the lack of preseason games and your cut downs coming faster, you really got to evaluate the whole entire roster. You don't want to miss out on guys and who might have not made the roster. Had they not had an extra game, you don't want to miss out on those guys who could be that that gem, that diamond in the rough. So they have to evaluate these third and second stringers to make sure if we have something, we have something. If we don't, we don't. But you have to make sure. It's not like before. You don't have the extra game. You don't have the fourth game where the third and fourth stringers are going to play all, basically the whole entire game. You don't have that no more. They have to figure out how to manage the offseason better, navigate it better. If you know what I mean, because next year they're possibly talking about adding another game, which would cut down another preseason game. So you're talking about 2 preseason games. Now you got to figure it out in 2 preseason games. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Zay, you make a good point. I mean, this is brand new. Giants are obviously going about this completely different than any other team, how they're using their offseason. So hopefully that'll benefit them for the long run. And I know that this is a little bit off the topic, but the same people who are going to bash the Giants O-line are the same people that automatically year after year pick the Dallas Cowboys to win the NFC East. The Dallas Cowboys O-line is just as bad. They lead the NFC East in sacks this preseason. I understand it's preseason, but they have a lot of retirees, and a lot of those young guys are going to be playing them. They lead the NFC East in sacks in 3 games, but one of those games they had 0 sacks. So their O-line is just as bad as the Giants. So if you're looking at the Cowboys to be the instant lock for the NFC East, I don't get why not show the Giants love, because they have.
Well, then it's going to be Washington that'll take the division. It's going to be somebody. Again, there's what could you possibly be optimistic about? What is it that you could, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's no reason to think like, well, God, the Giants have such an easy schedule.
They don't.
Saquon's health. Well, that's what I'm saying, Zay. There's no reason to be optimistic. You haven't seen any of the starters. Haven't heard anything good coming out of training camp. You've got one less preseason game. Brian Lewerke looked great. That'll be good for our scout team.
The big work dog.
Kyle Rudolph came back today. I think he's getting his first bit of any action today. So that should pan out great. If Evan Ingram looks like crap in the beginning, that should pan out great. Kyle Rudolph will probably, I don't know how much of the playbook he knows. I'm pretty sure he's in practice, but it's one thing to be in practice. When you're on the field and the plays are going, there's a lot that goes on. I hope he's ready. He hasn't played
nothing, but Evan Ingram plays great until it's important, like week 5, week 8, week 10.
Yeah, they always report out of training camp that Evan Ingram always looks like the best player out there, and then it kind of falls apart during the regular season.
It's the last 2 minutes in the fourth, he gets nervous in the last 2 minutes of the fourth. That's what it is. Drops wide open.
I don't even think it's. He just senses when it's a meaningful play to be had, and he just. Freezes up, I think. Like it isn't even like look, even like it could be the last play of the half. He still will drop the pass because it's meaningful. So I don't know. But yeah, Kyle Rudolph's back. Joe, we were touching on it a little bit before. You were talking about your boy Mac Jones. Giants have the New England Patriots in their preseason finale on Sunday. Will we see Daniel Jones against Mac Jones, the battle of the Joneses at MetLife, Joe?
We're going to keep up with the Joneses on Sunday night. Mac Jones, listen, I mean, if you're Mac Jones, you got to be thinking, I hope the Giants are going to run the scrubs out there again. I'd love to light it up one more time and take this job right out of Cam's COVID-plagued hands. So he's got great opportunity here to win that job, and the Giants are going to be, I would say, unprepared at best. So should work out for Mac.
Well, I mean, defensively, the Giants have still looked pretty good. Rodarius Williams and Carter Coughlin have been killing it. So I do think this Giants defense is going to be. I'm excited to see how Mac Jones can take on this Giants defense and. What's his name? The Patrick Graham defense, his scheme wise. So I'm intrigued by that. But Sean, what do you look forward to in this game?
Yeah, I want to see the defensive starters because obviously Mac Jones has been lighting it up, and we've seen some glimpses and some shines out of guys like you mentioned, Carter Coughlin, Rodarius Williams. O'Shane Ximines looked really good coming back from injury last game. He was getting a lot of pressure on the quarterback. He had a sack and 3 QB hits, I'm pretty sure. But I mean, other than that, I mean, the only other guys that will get meaningful time on the defense have been playing are like BJ Hill. Xavier McKinney actually played against the Browns, and then Darnay Holmes. So even if we get to see, some of the maybe James Bradbury or Blake Martinez, Leonard Williams just for a quarter, I want to see that because I want to see some pressure on Mac Jones and Cam Newton. Obviously, Patrick Graham is, like you said, JC, he's great at devising a defense no matter what talent he has. He can work around certain strengths and weaknesses, but I do want to see the guys out there to give a test to Mac Jones. And then other than that, it'd be nice to see some of our offensive players play. I don't know if Joe Judge has any plan to do that, but I think it would be cool to see some of our players that we hopefully see in week 1. So it's really just for me seeing the starters out there. I know we've been saying it a lot over the past couple of shows, but I mean, I hope Joe Judge's philosophy is, like Zay said, that he wants to find out which second string and third string guys are going to be, at the end of the roster. And that's why he really wants to play them a lot. I hope that's the way he's playing it. But other than that, I don't think there's really any reasoning for what he's doing right now.
Sean, that's baloney, and you know it. I mean, listen, it's nice to find out who your third and fourth stringers
there's gotta be
are.
a reason that the starters aren't playing, though.
Yeah, but don't you want to know who your starters are?
They see them every day.
I mean, I would be more concerned about that. Not really. It's not like this team is just some depth away from being a contender.
But they are, though. They're technically a quarterback away from being a contender. This team in my eyes, they're a quarterback away from being a contender. They have a good defense. They got good weapons on offense. If you can get the running game going and some part of like an offensive line, something, that team could be a contender. You have a good running back. Saquon Barkley comes back healthy. He could be a huge playmaker. You have playmakers on the outside. You just need that offensive line to function and that quarterback to figure it out. Because that defense is solid. We've seen their top 10 defense all day. And you added pieces last year. It's not like you got weaker. You added, what's his name? Dory. Players we haven't even seen play yet in the preseason. You have added
players. Anybody play.
You get healthy. I think O'Shane Ximines look good so far. I think the other side, Lorenzo Carter, they're looking good. And you're getting these players back on a defense that was top last year with no edge rushers, lost a lot of linebackers throughout the season. I think they're just a quarterback away from figuring it out. I honestly do. An offensive line, obviously, being said, but we have seen teams with weak offensive lines and a good quarterback figure it out. We've seen the Seattles and the Green Bays when the Green Bay's offensive line was junk and Aaron Rodgers was running around making everything look pretty. But we've seen it. So I think it's just a quarterback situation, maybe a lineman or two.
I definitely do think it is a line situation. I mean, I still have hope for Daniel Jones. But, I mean, I don't know. I really need to see – I want to see what these new guys look like. I want to see what Kadarius Toney can do. I want to see at least Kenny Golladay dress up. I want to see what he looks like in those pads with that jersey on. Same with the Dory Jackson. I just want to see them in uniform for a game before week 1. I just want to see that happen. And same for Daniel Jones. I mean, not even the new guys, the old guys, the guys returning, the guys who are going to be playing meaningful, who we know. I still want to see them in pads showing up on the field for, if it is one play, just one play. That's all I want. That's all I want.
If the Giants win the Super Bowl this year, nobody will ever play their starters in the preseason again.
Ever again. Not at least until the last preseason game.
Yeah, but let's take a step from the Giants. Joe, you talked about it a little bit. Sean, Cam Newton's got this COVID. He's out for COVID protocol. There was already a competition, but is this going to put Mac Jones ahead with Cam missing time? Is he going to get this?
It could. I mean, he's going to be out for 5 days, so I mean, he might miss this game Sunday. But I still think week 1, at least, that Cam Newton's going to be the starter. I think that he had a great start last year before he got COVID. He's also, I mean, Mac Jones has been lining up, but Cam Newton has also looked pretty good in the preseason as well. So, and he's been going against more first-team defenses. Mac Jones has been playing more in the second half. Not that Mac Jones hasn't been really good. I think that he will light up first-team defenses too, but Cam Newton's been doing it against better competition. So I think Mac Jones gets the job at some point this year. I just think that Cam Newton, he obviously still has the mobility in the pocket and able to run around, scramble, make plays, but his arm strength just hasn't been there, and the accuracy on top there hasn't been there for the last couple of years, ever since he hurt that shoulder in Carolina. So I think that he's going to get the starting job week 1, but I think that Mac Jones, eventually by midseason, maybe even a little bit sooner, that Mac Jones is going to be the starter for the Patriots and try and turn it around if they're losing at that point. But I think Cam's going to be the starter week 1.
Zay, how you feeling about the Mac attack?
I agree with Sean. I think it's going to be Cam. You got to remember what we're talking about here. Bill Belichick. This guy he's not one for throwing rookies into the fire. We know a long time we thought Jimmy Garoppolo was going to be the heir to Tom Brady, and that just never manifested the way it did. And he loved Jimmy Garoppolo. He says it many times that he liked him as a player and he would love to have him back, but never worked out. So I could see Mac Jones sitting as long as Cam's playing well. He looked good against the Eagles. If he can continue to play decently, he will sit as long as he can, because that's just how Bill Belichick works. He's not going to rush the situation. He's never been that type of coach, and I don't think he's about to change just because the league is, going in different directions with, offenses and whatnot. He's not changing. He'll be the same, and Mac Jones will play when it's time for him to play.
I agree with that. I do know this whole little COVID interaction with Cam has put a lot more people on the Mac train. But no, I think it is going to be Cam Newton. I do think what would probably be best for the Patriots is throw Mac Jones out there right off the rip, get the offense going and settled, and get them into a rhythm with Mac Jones, because Mac Jones and Cam Newton, both very different quarterbacks. Cam, before he got COVID last year, he was leading the Patriots in rushing. Mac Jones isn't going to do that. So I think if you want to,
well, how'd that work out?
No,
Joe, he's got to be realistic.
He was playing at an MVP level before he got COVID, Joe.
But what was their record with the MVP numbers? I'm just curious. I don't remember. Was it good? Because it wasn't.
No, because they started off.
I think they were like 2-1.
He started off poor. He had to start winning games again to get them back. He started off poor. Remember that?
Yeah.
But come on. Last year was a whole different ball game. We weren't even sure we were going to have a season.
I think Cam has already lost the starting job.
No. You can't do that.
I think Mac Jones will start in week 1. And as I heard, I was talking to some Boston media people today. There are people who think that they should waive Cam Newton now for his complete lack of leadership, for the fact that he isn't falling in line with the troops and getting a vaccine, that maybe it's time to just start the Mac Jones era right out of the jump. He would be, you look at guys like Peyton Manning who did it, started from day one. There would be no detriment to Mac Jones's development, I think, to start week 1. He's shown that accuracy we saw in college translates very well to the NFL. And they've got some good running backs on that team. They can actually run the kind of offense that Bill Belichick likes.
Yeah, that's where I was getting to. I'm
not wrong.
That's why I think Mac Jones, if he were to start week 1, would be more beneficial for the Patriots down the long run. Get him more into the offense, because while he was playing while last season, Cam Newton was playing at an MVP level, he was still 2-3 in those first games before COVID. So I mean, Mac Jones does everything Brady can do, just not as good as Brady. Bill Belichick can help him get to that level. But I mean, making the throws, putting everything, analyzing it, being a field general, that's just Patriots football. Being Cam Newton, being able to run it, being able to extend plays, it's cool. It did good. He did good at it last year. It didn't result in wins. But he still, it's just not Patriots football.
Mac Jones is playing second and third stringers. Cam Newton had to come out here, do something when half the team opted out for COVID last year. Did we forget about that? They had to fill in. They had to pick up players off the streets of Boston to come play with Cam Newton so he could put together something for that team. and they still almost manifested something at the end. So don't throw Cam Newton in the dirt like that.
Yeah.
Mac Jones starts week 1.
I agree. Cam had no receivers at all.
Mac Jones starts week 1. He will be just like every other rookie quarterback. He will look terrible. He's playing up against second and third string defenses that aren't even getting the real playbook out there. They're not using the real plays they're going to use for the starters in a real game. It's preseason. They wouldn't do that. That's y'all are crazy talking. And the whole COVID situation, no, you can't single out Cam Newton until we know who is and isn't vaccinated, which is none of our business for the first part.
Well,
we cannot single out anybody.
It's our business who's vaccinated.
No, it's not. It's not.
It is.
It's not our business. It's not.
Oh, 100% it is.
It's not.
We're living in a pandemic. It's 100%. Absolutely.
If
I ask every person I come across if they're
not our
vaccinated
business
or not.
at
I have
all.
every right to know.
No,
I have every right to know.
For
my own
medical
safety, yeah, I do.
No.
Yeah.
No, you
right,
don't.
I do.
No, you
Yeah,
don't.
watch me.
No,
Watch
you don't.
me. Everybody I meet, I ask them.
No.
If Cam Newton isn't
That's how it is.
vaccinated and the
That's-
Patriots have to
you know how many
forfeit a
players
game
are
because of
vaccinated?
that,
But
then that's a problem. Right
Yes,
now,
most teams are at 85%. So
BS.
it's just a handful of
BS.
morons.
I call BS. And what does 85% matter when you got a whole Yankees team that's vaccinated and they're out every other week with COVID? So what does it matter? Explain that one to me. You got half the whole team is practically vaccinated and they're almost out every other week with COVID. You're missing players. So explain that.
Well, since if you look at the stats, 99% of people infected with COVID are the jackasses who haven't gotten the shot.
Okay.
That's who it is.
Okay.
Aaron Judge didn't get a vaccine.
Okay.
Aaron Judge got COVID.
Okay.
Aaron Judge is a horse's ass.
Okay. So if I go through that list, so every player on that team, every player that's vaccinated didn't get COVID this year. That's what you're telling me. I'll go through that list. Every player that was vaccinated didn't get COVID. That's what you're telling me. 100%.
Oh, I wouldn't know the whole list. Do you know the whole list?
No, I don't. That's again, it's none of our business. But that's what I'm saying. You can't single out one player.
But
you can't single out one player when there's an issue going
not
on.
People's business. If there's a room full of people who are vaccinated because they take this thing seriously, and there's two jackasses who don't. You don't think we have the right to be like, are you a moron? You didn't get vaccinated?
No,
stay the fuck away from me.
I'm not gonna have the conversation here. This is Joe about the G-Men. This is not who's been vaccinated, who hasn't. So I'll continue.
But it is
football.
And it is, and there's a reason Cam Newton's not going to be there this week.
I'll continue about the football.
Idiot.
You can't single out him when you don't even have an entire league that's
Mac Jones is playing this week, and Cam Newton isn't. I can single him out. I
don't think the entire league is probably 40% or 30% vaccinated. It's because there's a lot of players who aren't. You have players who are coming out and saying they aren't.
Bro, they report on the numbers every single day. There's teams that are at 100%. So try again.
Okay.
Out of here with that nonsense.
I'm sure it's not.
To be honest, I don't care if a player's vaccinated
unless you have some evidence in any way, shape, or
like
form.
I said, I'm not having a COVID conversation here. This is about football. I'm keeping moving.
This isn't a COVID conversation, but you're also suggesting some really stupid stuff right here.
I'm sure because, like I said, I'll go off the show and I'll pull up what I got to do. Like I said, you said none of those players were vaccinated on the team got COVID, so I'm going to go look. And if any of those
most of the guys who got COVID are guys who were not vaccinated.
Okay,
That's
most of the guys. Is that all of the guys? Is that all of the guys? No, that you said most of the guys.
You can still get COVID, Zay. Yes, you can still get COVID because it's like really contagious.
Again, I'm not doing this. It's not about football.
It is about football because Cam Newton's not playing because of COVID.
Okay.
Listen,
how hard is that?
I'm just saying. I'm moving forward from my opinion on that and getting back to the football aspect of it. I'm moving on from that. That's what I'm saying.
See, the problem is we're talking about who's going to start for the Patriots. One guy's going to play this week, and the other guy's not.
All right. Okay.
So to suggest that this has nothing to do with COVID,
and
you're
again,
wrong.
Do we understand why he's not? Do we understand the whole issue behind the Cam Newton doing?
This season.
Do we understand the whole issue behind the Cam Newton thing? Was he out clubbing and caught it, or was it a mess up on the NFL's issue on getting his testing done properly? So let's not get into this. So I don't know.
I don't know.
That's a whole.
I don't know. That seems like a Cam Newton thing to do. Somehow get the testing wrong.
Oh my God!
He's a moron. He always has one of the stupidest people in the NFL.
They got
Cam
the testing
Newton.
right. They got the testing right because they were able to pull him before the game, and it got infected, and they had to forfeit the game. So if he doesn't get a shot and a game has to get forfeited next season, then that's a real issue. But if he just doesn't want to get it, and he's able to withdraw himself from the team under instances like that, I don't see why he can't. But regardless, we're starting meaningful football in 2 weeks with the NFL. Yeah. But this weekend, meaningful football starts at the college ranks. But first, let's hear a little promo from CMG's College Football Podcast.
The college football season is coming back, and we got you covered on every game. We're breaking it down on each snap all season long. Catch us every week starting on August 4th. Joe Aguirre, Sean Scanlon, Jace Garcia, and yours truly, Obi Muniz, giving you the highlights, predictions, and current rankings. Visit our website at hhwshow.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's All Four Downs, part of the CMG Sports Podcast Network.
All right, All Four Downs. Make sure you check out that tomorrow as we will pick week 1 games for the week 0 games for the college football season, because college football starts next week. I'm excited. But we're going to mix a little college football in G-Men with a college football Mount Rushmore. What 4 faces would you put on top of the college football Mount Rushmore, Joe? Starting with you.
I would say number 1, Barry Sanders. Number 2, Adrian Peterson. Number 3, I'm going to go with Deion Sanders. And number 4, Brian Urlacher.
Ooh. Damn. All right. Not a lot of college team success there. But I mean, hey,
were you looking for players or teams? You want teams
no.
Alabama, Clemson, Notre Dame, and Ohio State. Good night. Thanks for showing up, everybody. Okay. Mount Rushmore isn't about the presidents. No, I know. It's about the 4 dudes. It's not about their parties.
How many Heisman winners do you have on there, though? That's.
I mean, if you're worried about stats, I'm worried about being a legend, living legend, like Deion Sanders was, redefined what being a cornerback meant. Prime time. Never seen anything like it. One of the greatest college defensive players of all time.
No, I get it. I like it.
No, maybe I'm wrong, though. I don't know.
I like it. Sean, what's yours?
I just spit that off the top of my head. I forgot to actually make my list.
So, yeah, for my Mount Rushmore, I did like a personal list of the guys that I like to watch the most. And, most of them would be in consideration. Most of them would be in consideration for an actual Mount Rushmore, maybe not the last one. But the first one was my favorite college football player of all time, the legend, Johnny Football, Johnny Manziel. I think that he was the most exciting player to watch in college at the time, especially that upset against Alabama. He obviously, after college football, didn't have much of a great career in the NFL, but when he was at Texas A&M, he was an absolute legend. There's no denying that. He was just amazing to watch. Just some of the scramble plays that he made, some of the throws downfield. The guys like Mike Evans were absolutely incredible. So he'd be number 1 on my list. Number 2 would be my second favorite was Lamar Jackson. I think that his career at Louisville was absolutely tremendous. He started off the season with a game, 7 touchdowns against Syracuse. He finished it off with that crazy hurdle over that DB to make it an end zone. And then the next week, he follows it up by going, I think it was on the road against Florida State. And Florida State was ranked number 2 at the time. And they go up and they beat the crap out of them. I'm pretty sure it was like 55-10 or something. And he had a legendary season that year, bringing in a Heisman. And he's my favorite non-Giants player in the NFL right now. It's because of what he did in college. So Lamar Jackson would be 2. Number 3 would be Reggie Bush. He would actually probably be on the actual Mount Rushmore. I was really young when he was in college, but that's one of the first memories I have of watching college football was watching Reggie Bush for USC. Some of the legendary teams that they had with Matt Leinart and him, and obviously the 2006 Rose Bowl game against Texas might be the best college football game of all time. But he's really where my love for college football started. And number 4 would be current Giant Jabril Peppers, just because of everything he did at Michigan. He was a receiver, he was a safety, he was a punt and kick returner, or punt and kick returner. His versatility was absolutely unmatched. Maybe one of the best just overall athletes that ever come through college football. And he wore number 5, and that's why I wore number 5 when I played my senior year of high school football, because I love Jabril Peppers, and luckily now he's a Giant. So those would probably be my 4 favorite college football players of all time, and they'd be on my Mount Rushmore.
Oh yeah! All right, Zay.
I stuck to just players I watched because I could have went all day with Mount Rushmores and players you're talking about. So the players I went off what I watched, I had Peyton Manning up there. Obviously, Peyton Manning, one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play. Watched him in Tennessee. You know, he doesn't mean as much to me as his brother does. But again, Peyton Manning is a great quarterback to have on your list. At second person I had up there was Reggie Bush. Reggie Bush was another great player. Obviously, I grew up 2000. He was there 2004, 2005, somewhere around there between that area. I was in middle school, and that's what everyone wanted to do. The juke button was everything, and they put it in the video games basically because of Reggie Bush. He was literally like the human highlight machine. So I had to throw them up in there. Then I had Vince Young. Now, Vince Young is sketchy, but college, he was great. I don't know about his NFL career, but college, he was one of my favorite players to watch college. I loved watching that Rose Bowl. Even though his knee was down on that pass, I loved it still. I was rooting for Texas all the way. I'm happy it ended the way it did. And my final person I have is obviously my favorite college football player all the time. That's Charles Woodson. I played corner in football and safety. That's because of him, him and Deion, but mostly because of him. I didn't get to watch much of Deion being as young as I am, but I did get to watch Charles Woodson throughout his whole career. It was one of the best careers I've seen of a football player, and he's in the Hall of Fame. So what can you say? You know, he's great. So that's my 4.
Hell yeah, I like it. I'm gonna start off with a more recent one. Joe Burrow. That LSU season was ridiculous, and the whole team was insane. But with Joe Burrow's story, growing up, being an Ohio kid, going to Ohio State, saying, nah, you ain't starting here, getting kicked out, going to LSU and putting a cherry on the top by going undefeated and winning a national championship. That's just amazing. So that's why I'm going to go Joe Burrow in there. And I wanted to put Charles Woodson, but since you didn't say, I'm going to pick the second defensive player that should have won the Heisman, Ndamukong Suh. The man was a monster at Nebraska. He was just eating people, destroying people. Mark Ingram had no business winning that Heisman. That was Ndamukong Suh's Heisman. But he was just a monster, and it's really, really hard for me. I'm going to go Christian McCaffrey here at number 3. Return. He would get return touchdowns. He'd get receiving touchdowns. He passed for a couple touchdowns at Stanford. He rushed for a bunch of touchdowns. This man did it all at Stanford. The only other person who was like that was Terrell Pryor in like his 1 year at Ohio State. But yeah, Christian McCaffrey was just a beast. And there's so many ways I could have gone here with this 4th one. But he never won a Heisman, but Peyton Manning, man. Just what he did at Tennessee, just how he was, how he carried himself. He was just Peyton Manning. Peyton Manning's just a different person, and he brought that even at his days at Tennessee ahead of everyone else. Doug Flutie, Brian Bos, Herschel Walker. None of us said we're Herschel Walker. That's a big.
Raghib.
Did you see Herschel Walker play? Because I didn't. I wasn't around for that. I couldn't tell you how exciting that was.
Oh, also Jim Brown. Jim Brown. He wouldn't just dominate college football.
Do you not know who Raghib Ishmael is, Sean?
I've never heard of that in my life.
You don't know the Rocket? Oh, my God, bro. He ran a 4.28 40. He's one of the greatest receivers, kick returners ever.
When did he play?
We're born after 1990, Joe.
I'm sorry. I forget. I forget that you guys are, yeah. It's a long time.
When did he play? Where did he play too?
So he spent some time in the in the Canadian Football League, but he played for the Raiders, he played for the Panthers, he played for the Cowboys. He was college, Heisman Trophy runner-up in 1990. Oh, he went to Notre Dame.
Oh, Zay, you got to know that.
You don't know Rocky Ishmael?
Yeah,
the Rocket?
if you're gonna be you're gonna be
Bro,
a Notre Dame.
You gotta
guy,
understand.
All-American Walter Camp Award winner, Heisman runner-up, 1990.
You can only know so much. Remember so far back. Come on.
No,
Come on. Come on, people.
we're just messing with you. But you guys got any honorable mentions? Like I said, Jim Brown was a beast. He wasn't a beast for Syracuse football. He led them in rebounding, was a beast on the lacrosse field as well for Syracuse.
Oh, honorable mentions.
He's obviously known for how much of a beast he
was.
was.
McCaffrey was probably would be my fifth one too, right there. But I'm surprised you didn't take any Utes.
Megatron could be up there. What he did at Georgia Tech was really good.
Archie Griffin, Tony Dorsett.
Trying to think.
You want to go really, really old school, which you probably don't.
Honestly, Sean, you said Johnny Manziel. Oh, Michael
Vick. How could I leave him off?
Football?
Tommy Frazier won't mean anything to anybody, but when Nebraska was good in the 80s, they had a black quarterback named Tommy Frazier who was rented the triple option. I want to say maybe 2 tailbacks and Frazier all rushed for 1,000 yards. It was a thing of beauty with those big Husker linemen. Oh, here's some other good ones. Desmond Howard, Michael Irvin, Major Harris.
So you're going all day. That's why I only stuck to people I've seen.
Yeah, there's so many.
Me too.
But
dude, Rashawn Salam at Colorado, boy, it wasn't many better than him in the mid-90s.
Jadeveon
Kajana Carter
at South Carolina was a beast. Sean, you mentioned Johnny Manziel. Mike Evans, I feel like, is criminally underrated. Even at Texas A&M, Johnny football was out there hogging the spotlight, but Mike Evans was the guy there. He was a beast. And even with the Bucks, everyone was like, Jameis this. Mike Evans was still being a beast. Even this year, when he wasn't injured, he was still being a beast. And everyone's like, Tom Brady, Godwin, all these other guys.
Yeah,
I
agree. I think he's the most underrated receiver in the league. I think he's the only receiver to start his first 8 years in a career with 1,000 yards every season. I mean, he's just so consistent. He does it every year. He doesn't miss a lot of games. So I agree. Mike Evans is definitely super underrated. And another one that I honorable mention, I would say Devontae Smith, but I think it's a little too soon. But the season he had last year was...
I thought about him, to be quite honest. I don't hate that, Sean.
The season he had last year was probably the best season by any receiver in college football history. So he definitely deserves some love. And he was a lot of fun to watch. Too bad he's on them damn Eagles nowadays.
I thought about Chase Young for a second, but then I realized you had the Bosa's right before him doing just as well. So it wasn't really that impactful. But yeah, but that is...
What's the quarterback from Hawaii? I just thought about it. Just hit me.
He died.
Just passed away not too long ago. He had a great career at Hawaii.
Cole Brennan, yeah.
Yeah, Cole Brennan, yeah.
And Tommy Chang, right? That was the other guy. Hawaii has a bunch of just beastly quarterbacks who just threw for an obscene amount of yards. Because Warren Sapp, another guy, came into Miami to play tight end, then took the Rock spot at DT. That's a crazy sentence to utter.
The Rock only had that spot on his show. Only on his show did he have that spot. He never had that.
But regardless, came in to play tight end, then moved to DN. But that's going to do it for our show. Boy, that was fun. Talking college football is fun, so tune in next week. Tomorrow for all 4 downs. Make sure you enjoy the college football games this weekend. Make sure you enjoy preseason. And let's hopefully see Danny Dimes out there on Sunday against the Patriots. That's going to do it for John About the G-Men. Make sure you check out clovercrestmedia.com for more information and more podcasts. Make sure you like us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. And check out Clovercrest Media Group on Twitch. For Big Jace, Joe Aguirre, Sean Scanlon, and Kings A, this has been John About the G-Men. We'll see you next week to talk more Giants football. Take care. The Giants are running New York like the Times as Danny is dropping all sorts of dimes. Saquon's thighs are ruining defenses' lives and Leonard Williams making opposing QBs feel him. Receivers think it's scary to line up across James Bradbury, and the Giants have a bright future led by Coach Judge, Jury, and Executioner. Tune in to Drawing About the G-Men every Wednesday at 6, live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group, and here at CMG we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men, and great true crime shows like Sticky Meat, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.